think we were back up. Got the line right here. But yo. All right, what's up, everyone? We're back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I couldn't see my screen, so I didn't know. Even though y'all were still able to see me, I just didn't want the video to maybe upload and then be messed up or whatever. So I was like, let me just leave. I guess redo that shit a little bit. Damn. Keep knocking the phone down. Okay, but all right, my friends, we're back. Um, so let's see. Uh, what's it called? If you weren't watching the last one, go watch the last one because that shit. We covered the parable of the hidden treasure and the pearl, and the parable of the net, and we covered that, and then we even covered a little bit what it meant to be like a prophet is not without honor except in his own town and his own home, and we covered a little bit of that in the very last video. Because this video, like I said, it's a continuation of that one. Even though it's all one kind of big continuation, this whole series, that one literally is a back-to-back video because my screen fucked up for me. So, yeah. Oh my bad, the air's probably blowing right out. It's probably making mad noise. Um, what's it called? So yeah, now we're gonna talk about John. Unfortunately, the Baptist getting beheaded. At the time, Herod the Herod heard the reports about Jesus, and he said to his attendants, "This is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead. This is why miraculous powers are at work in him." Now Herod had arrested John and bound him and put him in prison because of Herodi- Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. I can't pronounce her name. For John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of the people, because they considered John a prophet. On Herod's birthday, the daughter of Herodias, her name, danced for the guests and pleased Herod. On Herod's birthday, the daughter, but wouldn't that be his? Danced for the guests and pleased Herod so much that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me here on a platter the head of John the Baptist." The king was distressed, but because of his oath and his dinner guests, he ordered that her request be granted, and had John beheaded in the prison. His head, his head was brought in on a platter and given to the girl, who carried it to her mother. John's disciple came and took his body and buried it, and they went and told Jesus. Jesus feeds the 5,000. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can't go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said, and he directed to the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. He then gave the disciples, he broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. So as you read through, there's a lot of in the other, like the book of Mark, Luke, John. I think the numbers are a little different. I think one says 1,000, maybe one says 500. I don't fully remember. I have to fully look into that though. Because to me, like that's not even like that's just some miracle shit. Like this at that point, like I don't even know. There is no explanation for that one. Like I can't give an explanation for that. Like there was apparently 5,000 people who had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and he fed all of them. How the fuck would you make 5,000 pieces of fish? They don't say how big the fish were. They just said 2 fish. If you have two pretty decent sized fish and 2 big loaves of bread, let's say you have what's your average loaf? What's a loaf of bread? Like your typical loaf of bread, you know? Because what if you have 2 big loaves and 2 big fish, and you fucking slice that shit just little enough, to where you can make 5,000 individual pieces. Or maybe not everyone gets a piece of bread. Did everyone get a piece of bread? Or 5 loaves and 2 fish. It didn't say they all had fish. It didn't say they all had bread. If you take 5 big loaves and 2 big ass fish, and you cut all them motherfuckers mad little, and you give out as much as you can maybe, but yo, those pieces will be dumb little. But maybe it was just enough for people to be like, I needed that. Unless it really was on some miraculous miracle shit where he really ended up creating like fucking basketfuls of bread and fish and all this shit, like on a miracle shit. It is possible, I guess, like, because nothing is impossible and shit, like that's where the faith really comes into play, I'm guessing, with that aspect. Or if we are looking at it maybe from a legit standpoint, if you have, like I said, 5 big loaves and 2 big ass fish, and you cut it all and you do it up the right way, maybe you could feed a multitude of people. Because in reality, maybe it's not about being so gluttonous. Maybe people think they need so much to feel full, but in reality, again, like man can't just live on bread alone, on the physicality of the world. Like sometimes all you need is a little bit of the physicality, and you also need a lot of the spirituality and the faith. And sometimes that'll make you full. Just a little bit of food and enough faith, like you'll feel full enough. Like you don't need to be stuffing your fucking body in your fucking mouth with pounds and pounds of food. Like the way we live today, like a lot of us are gluttonous, and a lot of us eat. We overeat. Like we think we're so hungry, we think we're starving. Dude, back then some people only ate like once a day, once every other day, shit, maybe like twice a week, and they were still strong and survived and made it through and were healthy and did what they had to do, you know what I mean? With today, people go a few hours without eating. They just ate a fucking like 5 course big ass meal. They go a few hours like, yo, I'm fucking starving. I need to eat. It's like, no, you don't. That's why maybe with enough faith and enough wisdom by God and relying on the Lord and giving thanks and praise even for that little bit, and then you eat that little bit of food that you have and you go on your way and you live your day, and you'll probably end up feeling even more full. If anything, a lot of us, our stomachs are so stretched out from the way we eat that we feel less full. That's why maybe eating a little less and filling yourselves with the wisdom of God and shit, like that balance will make you feel more full than what multitude of food could ever make you feel. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe you just broke it all down very little. People were listening to it. All they needed was just that little bit of something, just to sit there and just snack on real quick. And then they listened to his words and were like, yeah, like he's saying some good shit. And then they finished that little bit and they listened to his words, and that's just all that they needed. And they were like, you know what, we feel good. So I could definitely see that 100%. But that's just me trying to put an explanation to it. And I think that's a pretty legit good explanation. A pretty good one. However, that's my perspective, my explanation, and who knows? Maybe it was just some miracle shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's a solid explanation. You know. Okay. So, all right. Now this one I'm gonna have to really dive deep, I guess, to try again. And this is just the first book. Like to really get the full story, reading all four books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then piecing it is the best. So when I do that, when I get through the very end, we're gonna have a one video where we just match everything. Like we'll read multiple shit, like pop. We'll read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all one shot, the same shit in one shot, and we'll match it all. You know, I think that'll make a really solid video too. Jesus walks on water. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side. While he dismissed the crowd, while he dismissed the crowd, after he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land. Buffeted by the waves, or wait, Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land. Buffeted by the waves because of the wind was against what? The boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" When they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." When they had crossed over the land at Gennesaret, and when the men of the place recognized Jesus, they sent word to all the surrounding country. People brought all their sticks to him and begged him to let the stick just touch the edge of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. So, with that story, with the walking on water, I really have no explanation. Now, maybe it wasn't as far as we think from land. You know, maybe it looked like he was walking on water, but he was really on land. Maybe there was ice sheets on the top that he was walking on. Maybe it was so salty that it at the time that you were able to literally walk on it. Or it was just again a miracle. You know, that one, like the bread, the food one, I could make an explanation for. The walking on water, that one I really have no explanation. Like I don't know about that. You know, I am getting so sleepy. So we will definitely come back to that when the time is right. That which defiles. And some Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem, and asked, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands before they eat." Jesus replied, "Why do you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition? For God said, 'Honor your father and mother,' and anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death." But you say that if anyone declares that what might have been used to help their father or mother is devoted to God, they are not to honor their father or mother with it. Thus, you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites! Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain. Their teachings are merely human rules. So he says, hold on. Why do you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition? God said, honor your father and your mother, and anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. But you say that if anyone declares that what might have been used to help their father or mother is devoted to God, they are not to honor their father or mother with it. Thus you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites, Isaiah was right. Jesus called, let's see, Isaiah was right, blah, blah, these people honor, and then I'm going to just get back to where I was though. Jesus called the crowd to him and said, listen and understand. What goes into someone's mouth, oh, okay, so this, what goes into someone's mouth does not defile them. What comes out of their mouth, that is what defiles them. Then the disciples came to him and asked, do you know if the Pharisees were offended when they heard this? Or were offended when they heard this? He replied, Every plant that every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled up by the roots. Leave them. They are blind guides. If the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. Peter said, explain the parable to us. Are you still so dull? Jesus asked them. Don't you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body? But the things that come out of a person's mouth from the heart and oh wait, from the heart, and these defile them. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what defile a person. But eating with unwashed hands does not defile them. Yeah, like he's basically saying like so you could they're saying that to be godly you gotta not eat this and you gotta do this, but then and you could go and say shit about, like, you could be lustful, you could do all this shit, and that's so like that's so I guess it was okay, you know, but you didn't wash your hands, and it's like that means that you're dirty, you're this, you're bad, you're whatever it may be, and it's like no, like I was working. I'm eating real quick. Like, that doesn't make me a shitty person. That doesn't make me a filthy person. That doesn't make me a bad person. I'm eating. I'm working. I'm doing my shit. You know what I mean? Like, why you on my case? you know? Because it's like, yeah, it's not about like you could follow all these rules and all these regulations and all these laws hardcore to the max. But if you're a shitty person, none of that matters because you're just a shitty fucking person. you know what I mean? What does it matter to follow all these rules and traditions and laws and talk about God, and then you turn around and you're just a shitty person inside, though? Like, you know what I mean? And then you act upon that shittiness and you allow it to come out. Like, you're just hypocritical and you're judgmental and it's bullshit. It's bullshit, basically. You know. But what's it called? I'm gonna end this video here though. Freaking, I think we definitely made some good progress with a lot of stuff. Like I said, the reason why this one's short is because it's a continuation from the last video where the end kind of messed up. But yeah, I hope you guys all fuck with that, all enjoyed that. Um, yeah, just keep studying, keep reading, keep just giving thanks and praise, and just yeah, just be a good person. That's really it. Even if you don't read the Bible, whatever the case may be, just be a good person. Do right by people, and right will be done to you. You know. But I will catch you on the next one. I might take a nap. I'm sleepy. Keep on keeping on. Keep praising. Keep giving thanks. Just keep on, keep it on, keep it on. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.